going to tell you that as we've awaited the arrival of this great group of students, the anticipation and excitement has just been building and building around the college. And not the sort of quiet academic excitement, but more the excitement of the day before your birthday when you know you're going to get a amazing present. So we've really been looking forward to this. And yesterday, every time I stepped out of my office, somebody would give me a status report. They're in the air. They landed in San Francisco. They're on their way to Portland. They're in the bus. So we're delighted they have finally made it. And so good morning, and thank you for joining us to welcome these 28 students in the Intel Vietnam Scholars Program, coming from 5 universities in Vietnam, who will now study with us for the next 2 years. In case any of you don't know, the Massey College of Engineering and Computer Science at Portland State, we enroll about 2,000 students, confer 400 degrees annually, and pertinent to today, we have students from 25 countries. Today, along that international theme, we're officially launching this new and exciting educational partnership, which has been the result of a lot of planning over the last couple of years between people at Portland State, Intel, and with our university partners in Vietnam. I think most of you probably know that we have had a long history of partnering with Intel. If you haven't been here before, you'll notice that this is the Gordon and Betty Moore Atrium, sponsored by Intel founder Gordon Moore. And whenever we gather here with Intel for a meeting, it seems like something really good happens. Back in February, Intel was here to announce their $7 billion investment in capital and facilities, of which $1.5 billion was being invested in Oregon. During the course of this academic year, we've had other celebrations, one of them where Intel made a significant donation for equipment for our critical computer science laboratories. And then a little later in the year, we had another celebration to recognize the achievement of a group of undergraduate students that Intel had funded for research as undergraduates to help motivate and prepare them for graduate school. And then, of course, today we're celebrating the launch of the Intel Vietnam Scholars Program. Similarly, PSU has had a long-standing relationship with Vietnam, and that reflects friendships both with the Vietnamese community here in Portland and also PSU's strong commitment to its international perspective. Over the years, Dr. Marcus Engel, who's here, Marcus, you hear some, there he is. Dr. Marcus Engel and other PSU faculty have established very important relationships with the University of Science, now Ho Chi Minh Academy, and that in turn led to a collaboration between that university and the College of Engineering, and that in fact is over time extended to the University of Da Nang, and through this program, again, to a total of 5 universities. So at this point, without further ado, I was anticipating introducing the Chancellor of Higher Education, George Pernsteiner, and the words I was going to use is that he is a tireless and passionate advocate for higher education. That part is true. He is so tireless and passionate that he is, at the moment, trapped in Salem, which at this stage in the university's budget setting, it's exactly where I would like to have him be. I would instead like to move a little further into the program and begin by noting that during our new president's first whirlwind year as president of Portland State, Vin Bevel has energized, I think, not only the entire campus, but the entire city with his vision, his candor, and his guiding themes for the future. So it's my pleasure to introduce Portland State President Vin Bevel.
Thank you, Dick. And it's indeed a great pleasure to be here today and to welcome this group of students who are important in so many ways. And it's so interesting to think about, because this, of course, for you individually, is a very important day and truly the start of a great adventure. It's also very important for the institution, for Portland State University, because this program hits the right way on so many fronts. We have developed several strategic themes for the university, and this program hits on just about all of them. And I just want to talk about it very briefly before returning to talking about you and your experiences. We talk about the importance of providing civic leadership through partnerships. We see ourselves as an essential part of the Portland metropolitan area and the state. And partnering with the largest private company in the state obviously is a very big part of that. That's something this college has done all along. And this program is probably the most visible exhibition of that kind of partnership. And I'm deeply appreciative of our friends at Intel who have made this possible. A second big theme is that we want to make sure that our students have an excellent experience. That, of course, is true for you. We want to make sure that you have an excellent experience. But I think your very presence here will enrich the experience that our other students have. You will add insights and knowledge and a diversity of perspective that will contribute to the education that all the other students get here as well. A third theme of ours is to achieve global excellence. We want to be known as a university with selected areas of excellence that truly will be attractive for people from around the world. What better evidence than your 28 faces could we have? And again, the fact that Intel selected us to work with them on this program to see that indeed we have achieved already that global excellence, and we will have an extra motivation to make sure we maintain it. Our fourth theme talks about expanding educational opportunity. That's true certainly for the people in the Portland region, but also for people worldwide, to provide the high-quality education that we know everybody needs to compete in a global economy. So for all those reasons, that this makes so much sense for Portland State for you to be here. But I also hope and am convinced that it will make a lot of sense for you. I can claim to have some sense of what might be in your minds today. I first came to the United States as a foreign student. I was born and raised in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And I came a little bit younger than you are. I came when I was 18 for the last year of high school. And I can guess a little bit the mixture of anticipation, excitement, and probably raw fear that you had as you start on this period of being with us. And what I hope you will do is you will come to realize that while you come here to study engineering, and indeed you will learn engineering, I guarantee you that, and you will come out as experts, and you will go back to your country well-trained to work for Intel and really for the future of your country. But in addition to that, I hope you will also realize that you will learn vastly more than that. You will learn about yourself and about the world in a way that you can't even begin to think, because that's what I realized. Just like the old saying that a fish doesn't know he's in water because he's surrounded by it. As long as you stay in your home country, you can't possibly understand its culture because it is all around you all the time. You've never seen its absence, at least not for any length of time. Coming to a foreign place, for you it happens to be the United States, but it could be anywhere. I hope you will take the time to study and learn and get to know the United States. I hope you will find times to get away from your studies and get away from this group, wonderful as they are, to interact with Americans, to experience American culture. Again, not because it's bigger or because it's so important. I mean, it is big and it's important, but just because it's different. It isn't until you get away from the way you are used to defining family, friendship, studying, country, food, and you'll learn a lot about that. It isn't until you get away from all that that you begin to see what it is that you like about your own culture, your own politics, your own family, your own food, and can begin to become not just an educated person, but an educated citizen. A citizen of the world who understands his or her own place, his or her own role in that world. And you all will be world citizens working for a global corporation in a very rapidly changing country that has been so much in the spotlight of world history for so many decades. both through good times, for very challenging times, and now again for an absolutely glorious future. And I know that if you take full advantage of your time with us here, you will be major participants and major shapers of that future. So I welcome you and I look forward to both your own learning and all the contributions you will provide to our learning as we move forward together. Thank you very much for being here and welcome.
Senior Vice President and General Manager of Intel Corporation's Technology and Manufacturing Group. I mentioned earlier the $1.5 billion investment that Intel was making in Oregon. Well, we were delighted earlier this year when Bill came to this atrium to make that announcement, but it has sort of trained us so that whenever we see him walk in, we expect good news. It's just a real pleasure to invite Bill to chat with you for a second. Bill Holt, Senior Vice President, Intel.
We're starting to thank all of you who have joined us this morning for this important announcement. First, I really want to welcome all of you students here to Oregon, to Portland State, and to Intel. This is going to be a great experience for you, I think. Jim made a very good summary of how you will benefit from this experience. I want to thank you for volunteering and being selected, because you will also be very important to Intel. Intel has a strong commitment to our new factory in Vietnam, and the qualified workforce that you will add to will be an important part of that. So, welcome, and off to a great start. You all made it here, and we're just very pleased to have you here. I'd also like to thank Portland State and congratulate the university on being selected for this program. As you've all heard, or you will hear even more so as we go on this morning, this is a very innovative approach, something new that Intel is trying, and we're very pleased that Portland State was selected to be the provider for this education experience. Some things you may not know about Portland State is already the largest supplier of students to Intel Oregon. Of all the universities that we recruit from, we have more students that join Intel in Oregon from Portland State than any other university. That may not surprise you because they're here in Oregon, but they're also the third largest supplier of students to Intel in the U.S. as a whole. So we have a very long and strong history with Portland State, and this was a selection for this program, and we're very pleased that Portland State was selected. They have a very innovative program. They already have good ties to Vietnam that will help them in executing this program. Finally, I want to make a few comments about Intel's commitment to education. Our CEO, who just recently retired, made education a hallmark of his speaking and his mission in terms of advancing the industry as well as society in general. Intel has a long commitment to education, and this is a new example of that commitment. We need a qualified workforce. We've said that. That is why we're so interested in advancing education both in the U.S. and around the world. But that commitment goes beyond talking. This is an example of Intel finding a way to improve the education of the workforce that we will be employing in Vietnam. You're the vanguard of that group of students that we will be training. And it's just an example of not just talking about, but actually doing. And I'm very pleased to be part of a company that takes education so seriously. With that, I'll turn this over to Rick, who will give you more details about this program. And again, thank you all for joining us. We're looking forward to this, and we expect this to be a really successful program. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I can't let the microphone pass to Rick without just saying a couple of words about him first. Yesterday afternoon at 5 o'clock, you all remember a somewhat tired group of students showed up in the building after a long flight. I think it takes about a day. But to nobody's surprise, they were accompanied by Rick Howard, General Manager of Intel Products. Rick is always smiling. He arrived in seemingly good shape, great spirits, full of energy. And in fact, he was so happy I took a picture just because you don't see somebody that happy often. Rick is really the creator of this program. He's a great visionary sponsor, has been a wonderful partner for us in working through all of the challenges that are associated with creating something like this. So it has been just a tremendous, both professional and personal pleasure to get to know Rick and work with him. So I would like to introduce to you one of my heroes, Rick Howard.
I'm not sure I was smiling, maybe just because I was numb after the 24-hour flight. Well, good morning, and it truly is a great morning, and I'm so excited to be here. This event really is a culmination of a year and a half worth of effort to bring these 28 students to Portland State. And before I go further, there are some people that I really need to recognize. While I was maybe the visionary, there's a big team of people, both on the Portland State side and on the Intel side, that had to make it all work. And so let me start by talking about some of the PSU folks first. I'd like to recognize Marcia Fisher and the entire engineering team in so many ways. They've done such a tremendous job in really helping to go develop this program. Everything from developing our engineering test, which these students had to pass to get here, supporting the administration, and we had, if you don't recognize, we actually administered the test in 3 different sites in Vietnam simultaneously. No small feat. They also were part of the interview and the recommendation team that selected these 28 students. And then they also did just a fantastic job in really helping us evaluate the curriculum of the Vietnam universities that we partnered with. Because one of the things that, and the reason we're here early, is that our students are going to go through a summer bridge program. And this is a critical component to really ensure that they understand the American education system before they start into their engineering programs. So a tremendous amount of work to go make this program a success. So thank you, Marcia, and the entire engineering team. I also need to recognize 4 very special Intel employees that, again, were instrumental in making this happen. Roma Arellano, here in the back. Zhang Luong, here from the Intel Vietnam team. Richard Taylor, and we joked Little Richard with Inside Intel, that was instrumental and has now moved on to another assignment. And Kevin Foster that has stepped in and taken over his place as well. These folks have worked hours and upon hours to go, manage the hundreds of minute details, again, to go make this program such a success. And again, without their efforts, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you to the 4 special Intel folks. And I also have to recognize the Intel leadership. Because in the midst of this global economic crisis, they stood strong and really supported this program in spite of the economic challenges that the corporation has. It would have been very easy to pull the plug on this, but again, they see the long-term vision and the importance of this program. This program, the Intel Study Abroad program, is really a unique educational experience that allows our Vietnamese engineering students who have completed their 3rd year of engineering from the Vietnam universities to come to Portland State and finish their last 2 years in engineering. At the completion of this program, they will get a PSU engineering degree, and then upon their return to Vietnam, they will come and work for Intel. So their next 5 years are mapped out, 2 years at Portland, and then they're going to come back and work for Intel for at least 3 years after that. Now, you might ask, well, why did Intel embark on and decide to invest in this program? The answer is really found in I think, 2 important facts. First and foremost, you must understand that Intel is building its largest assembly test factory anywhere in the world in Ho Chi Minh City. That factory, when completed, will employ nearly 4,000 employees, of which 700 to 800 will be engineers. The other important fact that you have to understand is that the Vietnam education system, while it produces a large quantity of engineers, is not producing the quality that Intel demands. We need students that have proven hands-on problem-solving skills. We need students that have exceptional written and verbal English skills. We also need engineers that know how to work globally in teams. These are all skills that are not being developed in the Vietnam education system today. But the good news is, these are really strengths of the Portland State education system. And that is why we have selected PSU as our critical partner on this new and exciting endeavor. The 28 students in front of you are the best and the brightest engineering students in the Vietnam education system. To be here today, they've had to demonstrate their English capabilities and competency by passing the TOEFL English test to the standards of Portland State University. They've had to pass a rigorous engineering exam, and then they had to pass a stressful Intel interview to ensure that they'd be good future employees. These young men and women not only carry the pressure of college on their shoulders, but they also carry the hopes of their country, the pride of their parents, and even the future of Intel Vietnam. They are articulate, they are ambitious, energetic, studious, and most of all, great risk takers. It is these qualities that will ensure success not only in their academic studies, but also in their professional careers moving forward. So I'd like to close by simply asking the 28 students in a moment to stand, and I'm going to recognize them by having them stand based on their universities. But before I do that, your country is proud of you. I want you to understand your country is proud of you. And I know your parents are proud because I got to meet each and every one of them at the airport when we left. But also, your new Intel family is extremely proud of you as well. So thank you for being risk takers. Thank you for coming to Portland State, and thank you for joining a great company like Intel. So at this point, I'd like to recognize, and if you will stand, recognize our 28 students. I'm just simply going to call your university, and if you will stand based on your university, and at the end, I'd like to ask everybody to acknowledge them with a round of applause. So first of all, from the University of Technology in Hanoi, we have 7 students, so please stand. The University of Technology in Da Nang, we have 4 students. From the University of Science in Ho Chi Minh City, we have 2 students. From the International University of Ho Chi Minh City, we have 1 student. And our largest contingency from the University of Technology, Ho Chi Minh City, 14 students. Wow. Again, welcoming the newest Portland State students and our newest Intel employees. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Speakers, and thank all of you for coming. I do want to recognize the Portland State team, and one of the things I was going to mention is a great aspect of developing this program is the people I'm going to mention have all had the opportunity to visit Vietnam once or more than once during the course of program development. So they've had an opportunity to develop some familiarity with where you're coming from, where you'll return, and maybe most important, some opportunity to develop their own professional contacts in universities and ministries in Vietnam. First, Vice President Lindsay DeRoche, Lindsay's back here, Provost Roy Cook, who isn't with us. A very special thank you to Vice Provost Gil Latz. Where's Gil? Gil has given immeasurable energy and very valuable guidance and much wisdom to this. Also, our department chairs, Malgorzata Adjeski and Jerry Rectenwald, Jerry's back here, and their faculty. And I do have to pause to just express a lot of personal appreciation to a person I would characterize as a heroine, and that is Assistant Dean Marcia Fisher, who has made many, many trips, been on many, many, many late phone calls But more than that, I think she has really put her heart and soul into this program. Marcia, thank you. And thank all of you. I mentioned how excited we were when the students arrived yesterday afternoon. They then gathered in one of the classrooms for a while. As I was standing outside the classroom, one of our Vietnamese students came over to me, a student who's already studying here, and she said, I already know some of them. Apparently these were people that she knew from home. And so I wanted a little inside information, so I said, what do you think of them? And she said, I think they are excellent. Well, we think you're excellent too. So welcome to Portland State. And we certainly hope that this period will turn out to be one of the most meaningful in your lives. And so I would like to close by asking you to join me in one last round of applause for Intel and for our Intel Vietnam Scholars.